Rob Corvetti went and did some bid pricing with GMC. He looked at the truck that he wanted, got some pricing from GMC Arnie Bauer, and the total price is $126,508.86 for the two trucks. Lauren, you have to break down.
Yeah, you know, I want to start by saying, we're gonna wait, I'm gonna suggest we wait for competitive bidding, and part of that reason is, when municipalities go to the dealerships, and I talked to George Duganellis again this morning, it's basically these dealerships put out municipal discounts, they got it set up in their system, so no matter what dealer we go to, they're working on the same playing field. George explained that to me again today. The trucks are needed, and I think they're very fair prices. I'm in the industry, and these are very fair prices compared to what I see these exact same trucks go new. So I would encourage that we move forward.
Do we know what the state bid purchase price was?
I do not have that.
I know like whenever we purchase a squad car, the state purchase price is the state purchase
I
price.
believe that's what Zugalos was referring to, that they got a set price for all the municipalities that the state allows them. I think that's what he was talking.
So, Mayor, I can answer that question real quick. Liz and I checked in the state bid price for this particular truck. It's very difficult to try to get a state bid price for this type of truck because of all the different specifications we wanted on it. We did check the typical bid spec pricing for this truck was $51,700, which is exactly the same price that we're paying for the GMC.
Same, I mean, are we
It's
comparing?
apples to apples, yes. Yeah.
And the additional costs come into the accessories, the plows and everything that the city guys need on that vehicle. So this is a complete vehicle ready to go with a plow.
But that price doesn't include the plow.
It does. I'm pretty confident it does.
The 51.7.
The 51.7 does not include,
No.
but the total price
Yeah,
here does,
60.
yes.
Okay.
Warren,
Yeah,
what happens with the old trucks that they're replacing?
that's something we're gonna discuss and probably put up to surplus.
They're in bad shape.
They're in bad shape. You're
Yeah.
not gonna get much for them, but, if you saw them surplus, there's always a construction guy out there who would take a truck like that. I think that'd be a good avenue, in the future.
What year are those? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you exactly. I think one is a 19, Rob's old truck is a 2019 Chevy. It's rotten, a third of the way up the bottom of the truck, rusted out. Here in the Midwest, well, just about everywhere. Unfortunately, the dealers don't make them to last. As soon as you get into salt or calcium chloride, it's all over. It only takes a few years for the corrosion to start, and especially Rob's truck, there's holes in the doors and the cab corners and the rockers are gone. It's that cost effective to put money into it, especially with the miles on it.
Okay. Anything else, anybody, any other comments about the purchase of these two trucks? Anybody have a problem with it? What was handled, okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next topic. It's, proposal for services, for our Braidwood dog park. Steve, if you wanna start this?
Yeah, so in the budget that was passed, $300,000 was set aside for a dog park to work in conjunction with the park district. And this is to start this process. Part of that $300,000, you have to hire a designer to put together construction documents, put together the bid specifications for a project of this nature. RVI, which is formerly Hitchcock Design Group, is a company that we used for the town center, and the same company we're utilizing for the Park District Master Plan. And their initial price came in at $29,900 and negotiated down to $25,000 for the design services. And this also includes, like I said, the documents, the design, the standards, the landscaping, the type of fencing, the type of pavilion, the type of pathway, the type of concrete or asphalt or chips. It gets down to those specifications. And I thought after we negotiated the price, it was a very good price of $25,000 for a $300,000 project.
Okay, as we sit here today, and before we spend the money, before we agree to it.
Mhm.
I think we should probably get into some sort of an agreement with our park district, because I don't wanna get into, I wanna make sure this comes to fruition. Because you guys have talked about this before with the dog park, it just didn't get finished. I wanna make sure this is something, we start it, we finish it, and I wanna make sure this is something that the park district is on board with, that we get into an agreement before we spend the money.
So the agreement that we have in place currently for the grocery tax portion of this.
Yeah,
It allows the city or the park district to use any additional funds outside of the grocery tax to put towards any projects that are part of the master park plan. So
Okay.
that agreement, I would believe, would kind of cover that already.
okay,
It would put all in terms of.
That's the
that agreement.
existing inter.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's because both parties would have to agree on the specs and all the,
Mhm.
all in the same provision for this.
okay.
And certainly Josh will be included in every design meeting, right?
Yeah.
It's going on the park district property.
Yeah.
The location, I think, has been identified. Josh has been involved in those conversations. And absolutely, Josh will be involved in his park board, will be involved in the entire process. But one question I have for Josh, the mayor brought that subject up, is the park board behind it and I guess the procedures and processes that need to be taking place as far as, we have to work those out, right? If you want lanyards, you have to have a dog tag, what are the things? Is that something that you want to have worked out prior to design, or is that something that you think we could have that figured out? Like, where's the money taken? You could be taken there at City Hall to get a pass to use the dog park, you know, and other things that go along with the facilitation of a dog park operation.
No, that's definitely, something that's gonna have to be a big consideration part of it, because, you look at, for example, Donovan's Dog Park. It was a great thing when it opened up, they try to maintain it as best they can, but when you have a dog park that's basically unregulated, where it's just open to anybody, there's no requirements to make sure that dogs are vaccinated.
Yeah.
number one, that kind of thing. There's no skin in the game for the people using it. Whereas if you go to like one of the Will County dog parks, you have to prove vaccinations. You have to prove that you're, county resident or whatever the case is. And you get that lanyard and you have to wear that all the time while you're at that dog park. And people go in there and they're not wearing it, people that follow the rules see it, they have no problem in, hey, call and say something there that shouldn't be. It also helps kind of give them now we've got skin in the game, we've got to clean up after our dog, because they know that if they don't clean up after their dog, they can lose their privileges, they can lose their permit as a result. That's where it falls into now, how is that going to be, how is it going to be ran? The
Yeah.
permitting process, because the park district, obviously, we don't have any office staff or anything like that, we've got 3 part-time maintenance employees. So we have no way to try to do a paperwork vetting and permitting
Yeah.
process, so would it be ran through City Hall? What could the
It
fees?
sounds like that would have to go through City Hall.
Yeah, what could the fees be, can the fees be used to put towards the dog park for, purchasing the waste bags or whatever the case is, doesn't have to be extremely expensive, but something to help control it. Unfortunately, those ones where they don't permit, where they don't have to have a permit or check that they're vaccinated, you're seeing the
Nobody cares.
dog diseases that are going around, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
not cleaning up, so having that kind of in place would be, crucial for that. I know I've spoken to our other park board members about it at our meetings, they're behind it as well, but their biggest thing is just making sure that somehow emphasizing they gotta clean up after their dogs. Putting something out there that it needs to happen, it's a matter of ramification if it doesn't, which could be revocation of the permit.
I have a
Well, Josh?
I have a coworker too, Steve, I work with, and he belongs to the one up in Shorewood area, and he said they even have yearly passes, and they do, you're right, they keep an eye on the place, because they go there a lot. 3 or 4 times a week he's there with his dogs.
So as far as the cleaning up of the dog waste, under Josh's job description, it says other duties as assigned.
Yeah.
Just another duty.
No, but I absolutely agree with Josh. I've been involved in one part, a dog park development, and we basically copied Shorewood and Will County Forest Preserve, their policies and procedures on how to administer or facilitate the dog operations. And yes, everything is a yearly pass, whatever, $35, $25, whatever the price is, have to have a lanyard. This dog park will have the bag stands and garbage cans, there'll be signage. Some dog parks have cameras, but absolutely, it just can't be unoperated, it can't be just, anybody can go in there. Typically, you have maybe a gate that people, when they get their dog pass, they get the gate code to go in there. That's what I would propose here, that's kind of why the pricing might be a little bit higher than $300,000. Because if you just put a fence up, and you just put an area out there, you're gonna have what Godly had, and you're gonna shut it down because there's no regulation. If you do it right, and have a proper design, and a proper design that facilitates the operations and the policing of those operations, then it can work.
Josh, it's gonna be at the festival grounds there by the Park District?
So we've always talked about where we would like to put a dog park if we could ever afford it. The location that we've always thought of is over there up the area of Third and Center, behind our administrative office by the hills over there. Because that's all land that basically we're never gonna be able to develop. We don't have enough money to develop it. But it's a huge area where it can facilitate a larger, venue like that. Or, we talk about like a huge possible splash pad up over that area. There's a lot of area over there to develop.
So the Frisbee golf won't interfere?
No.
Well, another question, will there be signs, no deer, coyotes, and raccoons allowed? Or-
Kind of hard.
If they can read, we'll put them up.
Sure.
The coyotes can read. But yes, just Mayor Josh will be involved every step of the process. And we want to make sure that it's a great partnership, number one. Number two, it works for both parties.
Yeah.
And we're both committed to that.
Oh, I did have one more. Is it a one-size-fits-all dogs, or
No, it should be.
They have the two runs.
two different ones for
Small, big,
sizes?
yeah, small, big.
That's the concept design that we asked them to design.
Okay.
Is they have two separate big dog, small dog, some water, for the dogs to drink water, or patrons can fill up a little bucket for water, some shade.
So it'll be a big, oh, I'm sorry,
What's that?
big enclosure with a fence in the middle, kind of?
Yeah.
Something like that, yes.
So Liz has worked on it, she's done a little bit of research and kind of has her input and sent some stuff, some ideas. So
I think
yeah.
it'll be a great addition to the city of Braidwood, be a super addition. See a lot of people walking dogs here in Braidwood. Any other questions?
Comments, questions? Comments, questions, press?
Very clear, thank you.
All right. Okay, the next thing to discuss on our committee is variances from planning and zoning meeting that took place on May 27, 2026. Steve?
Yes, without getting into all the detail, Mastodon, the new truck stop, which is gonna open, pretty soon. Matter of fact, Dale just talked to me about when I got approved the permit to redo some of that area there in front. So the permit has been approved. Sean has done yeoman's work to try to get IDOT to expedite. Sean was somewhat successful in getting that to expedite a little bit, but they did receive their permit, and they will begin doing some of the side work and the curb work there next week. Hopefully maybe end of this week, but certainly by next week. So they came in for a sign variance regarding a pole-mounted sign. The proposed height was 28 feet, 4.4 inches. Our ordinance limits it to 20 foot in height and 100 square foot area. They're asking for a variance. We agreed with the variance from a staff perspective, and so did the zoning board agreed to this variance. Obviously, we want to make sure people can see this Mastodon sign from the highway. And it was very well done, and we think it's going to be a positive. And typically, these type of developments ask for a higher sign than what is allowed by code, especially if they are a highway type development, which Mastodon is a highway type development.
And so it'd be similar to the ones on the other side of the interstate.
Yeah, no difference.
So it's common for these gas stations, I see those big signs.
Yes, yes. And then the second is to reaffirm the previous approved variance. Brian wanted everything to be kind of packaged together, to make sure that this past variance was actually granted in the proper manner. So we are affirming the previous approved variance of a pole sign up to 125 feet in height and 1,400 square feet in the collective sign facade near the I-55 interchange, I-55 corridor. So, and again, the zoning committee affirmed both of these type variances with staff recommendation of yes, please approve.
Okay.
And to go through the formality, the next step is for you guys to approve it, the council to approve it, and it's on the agenda for the next meeting right after this.
All right, any comments, concerns,
I have a
questions?
second one too here. Second variance is secure truck lines. Secure truck lines is the project that was built without permits and final approvals. We've talked about it enough. We are requiring an 8-foot fence on top of the berm to hide all the trailers. However, our code only allows a 6-foot fence.
It is 6 feet, you have to be 3 foot in the front.
3 foot.
Oh, my bad.
6 foot.
6-foot fence, they can only do a 3-foot fence in the front. Thank you, Sarah. So a 6-foot fence versus the 3-foot, which is allowed. Again, we said yes, you're agreeing with the 6-foot fence so that it can shade and buffer all the truck trailers. The zoning board affirmed that and said, yes, we agree with the 6-foot fence versus the 3-foot fence. This will be a vinyl fence on top of a landscape berm. Any questions? Thank you, Sarah.
Any more comments or questions about that topic? Okay, next topic is going to be the demo of property at 585 West Main Street. No, yeah. No. Direction of sale, I'm sorry,
Yep.
directing the
First
sale of
one's
the
direct,
property
Yep.
located at 585 West Main Street. Brian, this is you.
Yep, so there's an ordinance on the agenda tonight for potential approval. 585 West Main is the house that was dilapidated. We filed a petition to declare it abandoned, and we've taken ownership of it under a judicial deed. This is the first step in potentially selling the property. It'll be a resolution that is then published for 3 successive weeks in the newspaper, advertising that we are looking for people to submit bids. It specifies bid specifications in there. It references a real estate contract that will be available for inspection in the city clerk's office. So it's clear what we are looking for. Some of the details on it is that we are going to be accepting bids until July 28th at 4:30. That's a city council night. We will then open those bids at the city council meeting. And thereafter, we can consider awarding one of those bids for sale. It doesn't have to be the lowest, the highest bid. It can be a bid that we find is in the best interest of the city, whatever that may be. Some of the other bid specifications is that the sale is as is. The residence on the property has to be demolished and replaced with topsoil and seeded within 90 days of the purchase. The city will waive the demolition permit fee, and a single-family residence shall be completed within 3 years of the purchase of the property. And we're looking to close on the sale of the property within, on or before August 14th, so just about a month after we would authorize that sale. There's a lot more details that would be in the purchase and sale agreement, but that's the high-level details.
And this is all per state statute of city-owned property that we desire to sell.
Yep, and we would have to come back with an ordinance authorizing the sale consistent with that agreement.
Okay, then they have to build within 3 years after the purchase?
Correct.
That's not state law, is it?
No,
That's
just.
something
that's
we should
our
get on the
spec.
book. That's our
Just the
spec.
That's our
process,
spec.
right. The only thing that's part of the state statute is
Just
the
the
passing
procedure.
resolution to authorize for the advertisement of bids, to solicit those bids.
Is there a time frame on the demolition? It's not-
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what I said, but I think
90 days.
90 days
90 days.
within, the closing date.
I see it.
And we want it demolished and
Topsoil.
backfilled and seeded, so it's flat, so that they don't leave, an open foundation there for 3 years or something crazy.
Are there any additional addresses on this for the future? Do we have, there are?
We're working on other properties that we're looking to take care of. Yeah, I'm actively drafting a complaint, and we have a meeting soon on another property that's similarly situated also.
Abandoned?
Not quite.
No? Okay.
We do have, Dale,
Similar, not same.
we do have a list of abandoned homes, and we're kind of going through the worst ones. The one that Brian's talking about is not abandoned, but it's bad. So he's been concentrating on that one, and that's almost to its completion. Then once Brian finishes that, we'll move on to the next one. And slow but sure, we're gonna whittle off all these abandoned houses and figure out how we can, clean up the town with
Okay,
those,
yeah, 'cause I know
those homes.
you talked about it before.
Yeah,
I know it's moving along, they've been working on it.
yeah.
And the hope is similar with like the, vehicles, that when you go and enforce a couple, word starts getting around that, hey, they're enforcing this, and that maybe some
Then
of
you
the
get
other ones
compliance.
are easier with compliance, and some of these people that are in bad situations, maybe will take the help that we're offering and, take an off ramp instead of ending up in an even more difficult situation.
Any other comments or questions or concerns? All right, the next thing, we're talking about demoing property.
So this discussion is if no one bids on the project, right? So we go through this whole bid process and nobody decides to bid on it, nobody wants to buy it and build it 3 years or whatever. We have to have a contingency plan on what are we gonna do with this house. George has been there several occasions, it's in very bad shape. It's not worth saving. The fire department looked at it as potentially a burning training session. It's unsafe even for them to burn it. It's not structurally sound, there's a lot of issues. I had Sean's people go in there to check asbestos, to find out if there's asbestos. They did asbestos evaluation yesterday.
Yes, they grabbed 17 samples, sent them to the lab today. First indications, looking at them, they did not look like friable materials that are typical of asbestos, but again, they could show up. Hopefully we'll get a clear bill of health, and that way it takes one less thing to worry about. It'll also help your sale also later on too.
So that process will determine if it's clear. We don't have to do any other testing or pay.
Nope.
Okay, so what we did the other day, we'll,
Yep. And we need that information, right, if regardless if someone's gonna buy it or if someone's gonna demo it. So then the next step would be, again, contingency, nobody buys it, hopefully there's no asbestos, signs are good, then we can have a demo and get, either hire a demo contractor or, Public Works can take it down. I have talked to some demo contractors, but George, him and I had a conversation yesterday, and he thought that Public Works is capable of demoing the building as long as there's no asbestos. They have the proper equipment. He's gotta dig a big hole anyway to find the water meter pit or the tap on. And I have to be out there anyway, Steve, let's see if we can maybe do it. So, George feels confident they can demo as long as there's no asbestos. I would recommend as a contingency then, not to go for a demo contractor, I just learned of this yesterday, not to look at a demo contractor, and if nobody bids on it, then turn Public Works loose to demo the building, put the topsoil in there, throw grass down, and let it set until we're at a point to where housing becomes more prevalent. I just want the board to know our plan with this property, Plan A and Plan B.
all right. Thank you. Last and final, is, 2024 MFT roadway resurfacing project.
Yes, and this is,
727.
no, pardon me. This is just a kind of an update. This will be on the next meeting following this. We opened bids on the 4th. We had 5 bidders for the project, which is better than we've had in the past. The low bid was deconstruction. They were $343, $340, which is actually lower than the engineer's estimate by about 15%. So we got very favorable pricing on it. And this project actually includes 5 street sections: Countryside Court North, Francis Street, Maple and Mary Lane, Maple Court and Mary Lane, doing surface up there, and then also a portion of 2nd Street that's really bad between Walker and Division. So we're gonna get all that taken care of for the price that we have here. So the next item on the agenda is just the approve that award to construction.
Hold on one second, man.
It can be as long as it's designed properly, as long as it's
meets all the.
Correct.
Never mind. Sidebar.
Okay. Are you guys done now?
We were talking
We
about
can move on.
we were talking about sidewalks for a second.
If you have certain things, I can probably get a price, and let's talk about it.
Okay. And I'll share with council, Sean, what I'm talking about. So, Moose had contacted me today about a sidewalk on Eureka. You and I looked at these sidewalks. I mentioned at the last, or one of my updates, that Sean's conducting a sidewalk survey. We do have money set aside that we're gonna wanna do sidewalks with. I was asking Sean, because these bids came under our estimation for MFT, if we could use MFT funds to redo the sidewalks. He said, yes, there's some different criteria, and so look into that criteria, but we have some extra dollars potentially, and we can maybe do some more sidewalks. There's a lot of sidewalks that don't have the ADA transitions on them. A lot do, but there's a lot that don't. And there's a lot of sidewalks, the one on Eureka, for example, is all broken up and in bad shape. And so we are gonna do a sidewalk program, but we have to have Sean's, what I don't wanna do is I don't wanna do one sidewalk at a time, and we're not getting the best bang for the buck with the contractor pouring the concrete. I talked to Scotty today, and it's obviously much cheaper to do several yards of concrete rather than just 1 yard at a time. And so based on Sean's sidewalk analysis, we're gonna have, okay, there might be 500 linear feet of sidewalk we can do based on his analysis. Here are the areas we're gonna do, and we get a better price by doing a larger group rather than just one at a time.
Makes sense. Somebody need directions. All right. Okay, that is the end of the agenda for our discussion items. Anything else as of right now? Anybody wanna talk about anything else at this point? All right. At this point in the agenda in our community of a whole is a public comment after we've had these discussions. So anybody have any public comment about the things that we discuss at community of a whole? Danita? You have anything? Good. Do we have anything up for executive? Oh.
Sorry, I have a little shoulder. I want to mention that I think because you're doing a good job, and I really like the idea of getting the sidewalks done, and we're working on bike paths and the dog park. I think this is really good for our community. I know when I first came here, looking at all the roads and not seeing the sidewalks, made it look like, oh, what kind of place is this? So I think it's a really good job. I really appreciate all the good work you all do.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Okay, next on the agenda is executive session. Does anybody have a motion needed to go into executive session? Okay, I need a motion for adjournment to end community of a whole.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Commissioner Michael?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Commissioner Weeding?
Yes.
Mayor Lyons?
Yes,
We have adjourned.
all right. We'll start our regular scheduled meeting at 7:05.